Hi, I'm Garrett Clark, and I got to go on my first mission trip to Panama.
Hey, I'm Peter Winter, and I just got back from my first international trip. Went down to Panama with some of the guys here from the church, and yeah, I don't know. I guess I kind of got in between there.
It's good. So I really wasn't sure what to expect.
Yeah.
First mission trip, had no idea, but that's where I felt like I was called to go.
This is my first mission trip, first real, more than just a stone's throw across the border. Yep.
That's cool. Being able to go and spend so much time with fellow believers from this church, just wonderful. That kind of deep fellowship you don't get from like a 15-minute conversation between services, and see just how deep their faith is as well.
One of the things that was just really fun was the quality conversation that we were having together between the four of us, and five counting Vince. But the quality conversations that we were having together, and there were no bars held. We definitely had some real intense conversations about some personal and theological differences or preferences, or challenging each other on the way we think about this or that, and that was really cool. That was a lot of fun doing that.
There was lots of Bible discussion going on. We were going through the power of integrity. Yeah, that was a good one too.
We talked a lot about what's next for us, both in the things that we've been seeing God prompting us in personally and for our family, and also what's next for us in just the general things, that God's general will for us and His specific will for the things that we're moving towards. And that was a lot of things that we had conversations around when we were there, and seeing that same kind of thing modeled between the couples. We didn't get to spend time with a lot of families independently, but seeing that modeled between the pastors and their wives, and the way that they were chasing after God in these holistic ways.
And then getting to meet the people there, our mission group, that was wonderful too. Just to see how the same faith that we have is the same that they have. It's the same gospel, the same message, and a lot of the same problems too.
Their wives have been a huge part and a big impact, and so just their unified relationship as a couple, and how they're chasing after God, and they were telling their stories where God would use one of them to encourage the other, or to push the other, and back and forth. And so as they shared their stories with us, seeing that's really cool to see as well.
A big thing when we'd go to each house, we'd get the testimony from the pastor and their wife. They'd usually be in some teaching position in their church as well. But they would hear from the people they were ministering to, the new fields that they were sowing, where are your women? they want to learn from them as well, not just the pastors. And that's a hardship for them. They really want to go out there. They have a heart for mission work, and just can't do it. Not very often, not as often as they'd like.
Going down and having the conversations with the pastors, the community leaders there in their areas, and hearing the work that they're doing, things that God has them to do.
They're pretty eager to go and spread the gospel too, which is amazing to go somewhere where you think you're going to be preaching the gospel, and they've got it already, and they're wanting to send it out, and all of it was really humbling to see the difficulties that they were willing to go through just to spread the gospel. And a lot of it was to their own people, their own tribes, and they want to be with them forever, so they got to spread that gospel out there. Their tickets are fairly cheap. I think $180 was what they needed, but they didn't have the funds to send the pastors and their wives, so resource poor, very much. I know a lot of them were struggling to sell their normal trade goods. They rely on people, tourists coming to buy trinkets, and they are some master wood carvers out there. Just beautiful pieces.
You would know.
Yeah. Oh, incredible. And the baskets they weave, I don't know how they can make them watertight, but it's by hand. Yeah. No factory out there. Most of them have electricity, at least for part of the day, that they have access to, so they can use some Dremel tools, but all of those looked pretty well worn. And with tourism going down, they just don't have the income to fund plane tickets to go spread the message further.
I think I went into it without much expectations other than just seeing what is the work that God's been doing down in Panama. And that has been really cool to go down and see. We had one set of plans, and just every time we turned around, there was something that caused us to shift direction for what we were doing or where we were going.
So we were going to go to a long trip down the Pan American Highway and then a boat ride up into some little villages along river.
Having no preconceived plan or idea or my expectation other than going down and seeing what God's been doing down in Panama. It really made that really cool to be flexible and fluid, to be able to go down there and just see whatever's going on. And wherever we're going is whatever we're doing.
And that didn't end up happening.
The taking each day in faith and seeing and what God's doing with us, through us, to the people around it. And as exciting as it was, just going and seeing all the different places and all the things, but not really knowing what is our next step or where are we going, because that changed. Like, we're on the drive from here to there, it would change in between. Or like, we're going to bed, we got to get up because there's going to be a potential protests in the morning in our block. So that was oh, we gotta go.
And a lot of the Panamanian natives had fallen trees over the roads there and set them on fire on the Pan American Highway. So there was like miles and miles of roadblock that we couldn't go. God changed our plans there. We couldn't go where we thought we were headed to. But we ended up going where we were needed.
Even though I am one of those people that fly by the seat of the pants and it doesn't really matter what exactly we're doing, we're gonna go do something fun, that part really sat with me. But for some people, that's outside of their comfort zone of saying, what exactly and how is everything gonna go? Just not knowing, but seeing the way and expecting the way that God's gonna show up for us on our trips. What I'd say to somebody who hasn't gone on a trip or looking at going on a missions trip or something that's outside of their comfort zone, and that's one of the things for me is, I never really had a strong desire or a big need to go. I thought it'd be cool to go out of the country and to do some mission trip or personal trips, but just hadn't made it a priority. And the stepping outside of my comfort zone where I don't speak any Spanish, and going down to Panama was a big step out of my comfort zone, and just seeing the way that I have to change my mindset in relying on other people more, because I'm more of the type where I'm the person that I want to be relied upon, and here switching the roles for it.
And if you're at Sunflower Bible Church, we thank you so much for your giving. It can help missions like this happen, and the resources are going somewhere they really need it.
Real thankful for Chris and Vince and the way that they guided our trip through all the ups and downs and the unknowns of the next steps. That was just fun to run around with them, to see the way that as long-running friends of encouragement that they worked together to encourage the people that were there in Panama. And for us just to be along for the ride. I really love being along for the ride and seeing the way that they work together to further and encourage God's kingdom.
Bueno, muchas gracias por invitarnos a sus hogares, gracias por compartir sus historias. Ha sido un gran estímulo para mí y sé que lo fue para muchos de mis hermanos aquí en Cristo también.
Gracias a todos por abrir su hogar, invitarnos a entrar, compartir sus historias, compartir comidas con nosotros. Es tan alentador, tan emocionante ver las cosas que Dios ha estado haciendo con ustedes, a través de ustedes y en las comunidades y las personas a su alrededor. Estoy emocionado de escuchar más y de ver más de cómo Dios está trabajando en las vidas de su pueblo allí en Panamá.